Hello, folks. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pro Wrestling Collection Corner. It is I, Joe Monroe, and today we are going to be talking about my WCW collection. Now, the rules for this one is going to be set up just a little bit different. I will be going by, like, if it's an original San Francisco toy makers, we'll go by those figures first, and then we'll look at each wrestler from that company. Now, if there's multiple ones that I have, of course, we're going to look at multiple ones, just kind of speed this video up a little bit. So let's go ahead and let's dive right into it. And the first set of figures we're going to look at is the WCW Galoob figures. Now, a lot of you from the early 90s may remember these little things. They're basically mini LJNs, and I have 4 of them. Thanks to a pretty good friend of mine whose name I will not mention anymore because, well, can't really say on the show what he is. But the first one we're going to look at is the man called Sting. Now, Sting is, this is Surfer Sting, as you know, some of you may not know as. This was Sting before the crow face paint and what a lot of us remember him by. Now, these are very, very loved, but as you can see, he's got the little rat tail in the back. Looks like this was made in 1990, and I like these little Galoob figures. They're pretty cool, especially the detail on the face paint, the detail in the tights. Now, let's move on to the next Galoob figure, which is AA Arn Anderson. Now, as you can see, of course, this one is extremely loved, especially in the boots area. But the funny thing about Arn, it's got a really good likeness to him, but if you turn it around, you get to see his bald spot. No, that is not a scuff mark. He really has a bald spot with this figure. And supposedly there's a story whenever this first came out, he goes, did they really have to go into that much detail? But oh no, it's a good little figure. It's a good little figure. I like it. Bald spot included. It's got a great likeness of Arn. Even though the boots, as I said, are a little bit loved, but hey, I'll take this and rescue it. I love it. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and move on to the next figures. It's a tag team. And of course, if you know these Galoob figures, you know the tag team I'm talking about is the Steiner brothers. Now, again, the details are pretty good. I like Scott here. It's old school mullet Scott. And with Rick, you know, his tattoo, great likeness of the tattoo. The boots, I wish they did 2 different colored boots like he did in real life, but I understand why they didn't do that. But yeah, I mean, these are really good figures. Speaking of Scott Steiner, let's do a little bit of a shameless plugging for a future event coming up on March the 9th. Speaking of Scott Steiner, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time again for the Caverna Super Show. This is number 24, happening March 9th of 2024 at the Caverna High School in Cave City, Kentucky. We have Scott Steiner, Chase Stevens, Chris Michaels, James Ellsworth, Wolfie D, and of course Hillbilly Jim. Get your tickets now. Now, the next line of figures we're going to look at is the original San Francisco Toy Makers figures. And yes, I do have the embarrassing vibrating ones, but we'll get to some of those here in just a moment. But the first one we're going to look at is the individual ones I have. First one up, as you can see, is Raven. Now, the likeness is questionable, but I do like the attire. It's a great little figure. Not bad for San Francisco Toy Makers. I want to say this is kind of like they're calling for bone crunching action because these came out in 98. But I just, it's questionable. That they have different articulations like Raven here. Looks like he's doing the Mr. Rebotto dance. But let's go ahead and let's move on to the next figure out of this line, which is the Smiley, which is what I like to call it, the Mr. Perfect, the creepy Smiley one. It's I mean, just look at that face. Let me do it just a little bit more if that don't creep you out. Yeah, that's very creepy, creep face. Let's zoom back out here. Sorry guys, didn't mean to scare you, but it's an okay figure. I like it. Not really much to talk about this one. Again, comes out of 98 line. It's got a stylish little pony mug back in the back there. But all in all, it's okay. The creepy smiley face creeps me out quite a bit. But let's go ahead and let's get this out of the way because it's scaring me and move on to the next figure. Now, the next one we have is the master of the diamond cutter himself, Diamond Dallas Page. Now, there is quite a bit to talk about this figure. His tattoos are very, very detailed. So are the tights on his designs on his tights, I should say. Let's go ahead and let's look at this other tattoo right here. Now, I know he needs washed off and everything, but the cool thing about him is he does have an action button, which does this type deal. But all in all, it's not a bad little figure. I like it. I do need to clean him up some more, but not a bad likeness of him. But let's go ahead and move on to one that I think a lot of you will love. And I am talking about none other than the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Woo! Yeah, sorry if I deafened you there. But yeah, this is the blue trunk Ric Flair. To be completely honest with you, it kind of looks more like Charles Robinson, but that's just me. But this is the Ric Flair. His little action, I think it's, the double fist action back here in the back. Just press this button in the back and, woo! Too bad I don't have that sound effect. This is probably one of my better looking figures out of the San Francisco Toy Makers line. Kind of wish he had a robe. That'd be pretty cool, but not a bad little one. But the next set of figures I'm going to put in the group, and if you're a WCW fan or just a wrestling fan in general, you're probably going to already guess who it is. And I am talking about none other than the NWO. Now, remember what I said about the embarrassing vibrating toys? Yeah, look at Scott Hall here. Now, you see that red button on the side? If you press it, it vibrates. Why did they ever come out with that? I have no idea. But it's not a bad likeness of Scott Hall. It's better than the mini San Francisco Toy Makers. I don't have it. I need to find it again. I used to have it, but I need to find it again. But Scott, this is Kevin Nash. Not a bad likeness. Hollywood Hogan, of course, he's going to have probably the better one. And everyone's favorite wrestler. I'm kidding. It's Buff Bagwell. Not a bad likeness at all. The tight design on all of them are pretty cool. Hogan's got the lightning tights on the side here. The little leather frilly things going down Nash's pants. All in all, not bad little figures. I don't mind them. Now, this next one we're going to look at is going to be, it's one wrestler, but he has one of the mini ones like this and also a vibrating one. And a lot of people, they may or not like him, or they may love him. And I'm talking about the Total Package. And if you didn't get the Total Package reference, yes, I am talking about Lex Luger. Now, of course, here's his the vibrating original San Francisco, and here's the regular one. To me, in the face, here, looks more like Greg the Hammer Valentine and Lex Luger. But it's not a bad little figure. I like it. This one, it kind of creeps me up. Not gonna lie, it does creep me up. But no, not bad little figs. Pretty cool. The next one is also a double one of one wrestler. Some people know him as Paul White. Some people may know him as The Big Show. But in WCW, he was known as the Giant. Yes, we're talking about the Giant figures that we have. They're not bad figures. I like these a lot better when it comes to lightness. Even the weird grinning one, yes, I like it more than some of them. Oh no, they're not bad little figs. I like them. Even the little vibrating one's not a bad little fig. But yeah, the original San Francisco Toy Makers, they're different. They were really different. I remember playing these as a kid. More of these, not those. But having those and the bone crunching action ones from the WWF line at the time. But I do have one more person. I'm saving the best for last. And that is none other than Sting. Now, the reason I didn't put Wolfpack Sting in with the NWO is because I like to show the two side by side. Now, even with the face paint scratched off a little bit, I like it. I actually got that one from our sponsor, Phenomenal Finds ATL. Thank you guys for that. Majority of these WCW figures I recently just got off of them. And here's the regular black and white Sting. I think I got that off them as well. But look at the two figures. You tell me in the comments below which one you guys like better, the red and black or the white and black. But they're basically the same figure, but they're really cool. So now the next line is going to be the Toy Biz line. So we'll go ahead and we're going to start off with them here in just now. The next figures we're going to look at is the Toy Biz. Well, I don't know their correct names. So forgive me about it, but they're the ones that have the magnets on them. You can do the little flips. I'll do a demonstration here in just a moment to show you. But we have Bill Goldberg, not a bad looking figure. We have Diamond Dallas Page. Cool thing about Diamond Dallas Page is he has a metal plate in his chest. That way you're able to grab it. I'll show that in the demonstrations here in just a moment. Then we also have the Iceman Dean Malenko. I like Dean Malenko, pretty cool. It's a good likeness of him. Then, of course, we have Hollywood Hogan, or Hollywood Hogan, whatever you want to say. Now, the only bad thing about these is the magnets are very easily, they come out pretty easy. I had that issue even when I was a kid. This Hogan's really cool. This is the best one. He even has a magnet on the back for the flip, but yeah, it's not a bad looking figure on detail, to be honest with you. But let's show a demonstration, shall we? Now the next set of figures are the regular Toy Biz figures. We have the Giant, which has the retractable claw here. Let me just show you here. I think you're supposed to squeeze them. Yeah, there we go. But not a bad likeness of the Giant. With the neck brace, he's about too big to go into frame here. He's been loved. I actually saved him from a vendor's mall. Then we got Ric Flair. This one at least kind of sort of looks like Ric Flair a little bit. Wish I had the robe to go with this, but it's got the Four Horsemen logo on the trunks there. Next one we have is a DDP, a Diamond Dallas Page. I wish I had the vest of this, but this is one of the ones I had as a kid, and I was super excited to get because it's actually in pretty decent condition. Then we have Scott Hall. I don't mind this Scott Hall. It's pretty cool. There's a black and white one variant that I would like to have. I need to find it. We also have the Planet of the, Lex Luger, or the Planet of the Apes Luger, whichever one you want to call it, because that's what he looks like, one of the Planet of the Apes figures. This one's the red boot one. There's several different variants of this one. And the last one we have is Sting. To make sure, and he does the Stinger Splash. There's like several different Stings, but I like the NWO Sting myself. So yeah, those were all the Toy Biz figures. The next ones we're going to look at is actually from Marvel. Yes, that Marvel. Now, one of the first Marvel figures I'm going to look at is the DDP one. This one has the same action as the Toy Biz Scott Hall, but it's pretty cool. I like it. Nothing really too special about it. It's just black sunglasses, black boots, but it's not a bad looking figure. The next one we have is actually one of my favorite ones. It's Billy Kidman. I think this is one of the most underrated figures out there. It's so detailed, articulated, and it's really cool fig. I like it. One of the best ones. Now, another one we have, one that is very, very loved, is, as you can see, I saved him from, I want to say, a yard sale, or I think possibly Phenomenal Finds ATL had him, and I think gave him to me at a really, really good price. Buff Bagwell. The details on Buff here is really cool. The boots to the tights, really good. I like this figure. It's one of my favorite figures of Buff. Even this tattoo is pretty detailed, so not bad. Now, the next one we have is Who's Better Than Canyon? Nobody. I like this Chris Canyon. It's really cool. One of the very few Chris Canyon figures there is. I love it. I have the stairs somewhere that went with this. Now, speaking of steps, I want to say that this. I want to say this is Booker T. I think of Harlem Heat. I want to say he came with. Yeah, this is Booker. Came with ring steps as well. So not a bad little Booker T. And the next one we have is Lex Luger. This one actually looks like Luger. This came with like the battle armor or battle axe, whatever it was called, line. It's not bad look for, as you can see. He's kind of wee. And the next, last one we have before we look at two here is the statue Goldberg. I like it. It's not too bad. It's not a bad fig at all. Good likeness of a cartoonish Goldberg. The tattoo's a little small for my liking, but all in all, not bad. And it doesn't articulate. That's why it's statue. But um, let's take a look at a couple of figures here that are, or should I say, the same wrestler. These are the Marvel Kevin Nash's. One's Outsiders, with Outsiders on the side, and one's just regular Kevin Nash. I actually got the vest with this one. These are my two favorite WCW figures because I love the likeness of the Outsiders figure and the regular Kevin Nash figure. They're both really, really cool within likeness, articulation. Um, all in all, great finds. Thank you again, Phenomenal Finds ATL, for helping me find these. So thank you all. But let's go ahead and let's end this show. And that was the WCW collection, and we have many more collections to look over, and I know that collection was pretty short. I just now started to regrow that collection, so be sure to be on the lookout. We may come back and revisit this. But until then, just to remind everyone, this Saturday, February the 24th at 7:05 p.m., live on both Facebook and YouTube, we will have the Roland Hard Memorial show. So that is going to be great. I have a couple of guests coming on with me. We're going to talk about my cousin, the late, great Roland Hard, as well as this next Wednesday, we'll have another review, a collection review coming up. I'm not going to reveal what it is just yet, but we will have another collection review. So until then, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all of our social media platforms. And as always, stay safe, have a good night, and always support professional wrestling.